Hey Gloria, it's so nice to have you on the show today. How are you doing?
I am doing great, and the weather in my location is beautiful today.
Awesome. I love that. And it's quite sunny here, you see. We got sun outside, but it's all good. So thank you so very much for being here, Gloria. And you see, oftentimes, Gloria, I love to thank my guest for two things, all right? And I do this so often to the point where it has become an anthem for me. So firstly, I want to say thank you so very much, Gloria, for investing in yourself. You see, you are on this platform right now because you invested in yourself. And oftentimes, Gloria, I love to make reference to the amazing mango tree. You see, some months back, I was on a particular
Mhm.
road, and just by the roadside, there was this tall, unattractive mango tree. And I use the word
Mhm.
unattractive because the mango tree's got no mangoes on it, and the leaves were all dry. So I just walked past
Right.
it and I went my way. But you see, Gloria, just recently I was on that same road, and this time around, a lot's changed about the mango tree. The mango tree caught my attention pretty good from a distance, and immediately, Gloria, I got the urge to move so close to it, of which I did, and it wowed me. Because now the mango tree's got a lot of beautiful mangoes on it, beautiful green leaves and healthy branches, and not just mangoes now, Gloria, but ripe mangoes. It was such a lovely moment that day. I was so excited. Here is my point. The fact that you dedicated your time, energy, and resources to becoming the amazing Gloria that you are today, that alone has made it really impossible for me to skip you. And that's why you got the request for me to be on the show because I was attracted to the fruit of all that you're doing, your insights, your philosophies, the impact your work is having, and how you offering your solution. These stuffs are amazing. And I said to myself just before I texted you that I've got to benefit from these beautiful things Gloria is doing. Not only me now, but even the audience. And here we had a day with the amazing Gloria. So thank you so very much for doing that to yourself. And secondly, thank you for saying yes to the invite. Because if you had said nope, there was nothing Elisha could do about it. Thank you so much.
Right. You are quite welcome. I'm delighted to be here, and I love your mango tree
Thank
story
you.
because we all have a story, we all have a journey, and it brings us into the present. And I have a couple of little stories I'd love to share with you. One is about how did I end up in psychology? And I ended up here thanks to a professor straight out of Harvard who, in Calculus 2, filled the front back blackboard with writing with her right hand, erasing with her left. And I mean, she filled it top to bottom, top to bottom. She went to the sideboard, filled it top to bottom, writing with her right hand, erasing with her left. Everyone in the class was totally lost. I had a 4.0 at that point, wanted to graduate with a 4.0, knew I was not going to pass Calculus 2. And so when I actually did pass Calculus 2, God indicated that math was not my path. And I immediately switched my major and my minor. And my minor was psychology. And I did it because I just loved interacting with people. I wanted to learn more about groups and about individuals. That has been such a gift for me and a gift for all of the people I've worked with. And I landed in a 7-year stretch of working with men and boys. And that has given me incredible insight to the development of men in cultures across the world. I've also done a ton of work with women. And at this point, the book that I have written is designed for any adult at any point in life to do a reflection on your own history. So you can find the calculus teacher in your own history, all right? The person that caused you to change direction or stopped you from experiencing something that your heart was set on. We all have those experiences. Some of them lead in a pleasant direction, some of them lead in a very negative direction, but identifying those places in life where the path changes for you and understanding the emotional impact and the emotional value of that change is really critical. And that's how we grow. That's why I've written this book.
Amazing. Amazing. I got that. That's a powerful story, and thank you for sharing that with us. Okay, so we
You're
just dive
welcome.
right into it. You've laid the stage already. Beautiful. But I'm still a bit curious, all right? So, what is the title of this amazing book, and how did you come up with the title?
The title of it is Read, Reflect, Respond, the 3 R's of growth and change. I have a copy here. I'll show you what the front of it looks like. All right,
Beautiful
there it
cover.
is. It is a lovely cover. And the book is organized with an essay on the left-hand page and then 3 or 4 questions on the right-hand page. But the key to this book is that the right-hand page is blank. It doesn't have lines on it because so much of what we store in our brains is stored in terms of sight or sound or motion. So you could write words on the page if you want, but in some situations, you will be moved to scribble or scratch, and that puts you in touch with the feelings that this essay has triggered. So I want you to read the essay. I want you to respond to the essay in the full range of your capability, not just language, because we hold things in terms of motion from very early childhood or touch from very early childhood or even from the present. And then really reflect on what comes up in you and what that essay has stirred that you need to investigate further. So, this is a starting point for a journey of growth for anyone that reads it.
Journey of growth for anyone that needs it. Got that. So, while you were talking earlier, you mentioned working with men and boys. So, I'm just curious, why are you interested in, working with men and boys? Why are you interested in men and boys here?
Yeah, it is interesting. I started my practice working with preschool boys. So I had a friend who was director of a preschool. And interesting, right, is that boys in preschools tend to get in trouble more than girls do. Boys are
So
active,
true,
they
so
use
true.
their muscles, they're boisterous, they're loud, and preschools are run by women, not by men. All right. If the staff was all male, those boys would not stand out. They'd just be, oh, that's normal behavior. All right. Joey's doing fine. But because the staff is all female, those actions stand out, and teachers want someone to take a look at that boy, see if does the boy have attention deficit, does the boy have any cognitive difficulties. So I started evaluating preschool boys and identifying boys that did have attention deficit disorder. And the outcome of that was that many of their fathers also had attention deficit disorder that had never been recognized, never been supported, never been validated, and they just flooded my calendar. And then, of course, as they got help, they shared it with their friends. And so I work not only with men who were having attention deficit issues, but men that were having anxiety issues, depression issues, relationship issues. And they just taught me so much about what it means to grow up as a male in this culture. So I'm also working on a book that comes out of that experience that will help fathers do a better job of raising their sons and helping their sons to remain accessible to all of the feeling states that a human being is capable of having.
That's a very important one. I can't wait for you to publish that. So, why do men have more difficulty with relationships and intimacy in particular? Just to buttress what you just said.
So ask that again in a slightly different way.
Okay, so why do men have find it more difficult with relationships and intimacy in particular?
That's a real easy answer. It's because just like the preschool, all right, boys are raised by women, and all of the research on parenting and the mother's interaction with boys and the mother's interaction with girls indicates mothers will spend more time verbalizing, interacting, paying attention to their girls because their girls make sense to them. They can identify with what the girl is experiencing. Boys come into the world with a wider range of emotional expression than girls do. All right, so think about that. All right, boys are more emotionally expressive than girls are. Mothers are not comfortable with that. They're not used to that. That means, all right, sometimes the boy is louder. Sometimes the boy is more intense. Sometimes the boy is more needy. And women are not comfortable with that. So the research shows they actually spend less time interacting with their male infants than they do with their female infants. The result of that is that boys, before they can walk, talk, do much of anything, right? When they are really dependent infants, learn to shut off access to a certain range of emotions. All those things that are out on the edges, more intense, they shut off access to those. And then, of course, when they get to be men, we expect them to be able to access the full range of their feelings. It's not possible. We've trained them to shut that off. And historically, for good reason, right? We send them out of the cave to hunt and kill. All right. They should not be kind of whistling as they run through the brush. All right. They need to be attentive. They need to be focused. They can't be afraid as they run through the brush. All right. They need to be brave. They need to be courageous. And, we send them off to war as well. So it's adaptive to cut off their access to a range of emotions, but it isn't productive for relationships as adults, both with men and with women. And I think by and large, that accounts for the significant divorce rate in the United States.
Profound words. And I never thought about it that way. That's a deep one. Thank you for sharing that.
You're
Okay.
welcome.
Yeah. So we still have some questions here. What role does mental health play in other parts of our lives?
Mental health is your life. From that little boy, right? Who doesn't have access to certain emotions. And then the culture doubles down on that little boy. So go to any mall, go to any shopping area, and watch the interaction between parents and boys and parents and girls. right? If a girl gets distressed, comes up to the parent, is crying or irritated, she will get picked up and then she will get asked what happened. If a boy comes to mom or dad distressed, irritated, he will get asked what happened. If he gives a good enough answer, he will get picked up and receive comfort. If he doesn't give a good enough answer, he will just be sent back into the fray. So we have structured our social interactions to make it almost impossible for the male population to access the full range of their feelings. And that has a complete impact on interactions in the workplace, marriage, relationships. We expect our marital partners to be able to understand the full range of female emotion. We expect them to be able to tap into some sensitive emotions. We expect them to be able to share their own emotions, but we've raised them in a system that has completely cut off their access. So it's an unrealistic expectation.
Too. So why do you write regular blogs?
Oh, I write blogs because I have to. It's just it's just one of those things that comes quite naturally. And every week, 2 or 3 of these guys will pop out of my head. I want to communicate them to others because I know that there are others who are having similar histories, similar feelings, similar thoughts, and I want to encourage them to legitimize those, right? We all have pieces of history where someone has hurt our feelings. We all have pieces of history where we've been on top of the world and we think we're the best at that particular thing that we do. I want people to connect with themselves and to connect with each other. I want them to be able to read a blog, reflect on a history, and share it with someone else. So it facilitates connection. We were born connected to another human being. We spend our entire lives seeking connection, and we want a connection that's satisfying. So I hope that one of my blogs facilitates a significant connection between 2 other people out there.
That's so beautiful, and I love that. So to bring this to an end, Gloria, what would you like to leave the audience with, like a final thought? And to those folks who would like to reach out to you, learn more about everything we've discussed, or even ask questions, or make a purchase of your amazing book, how can that be possible?
So what I would love for everyone to understand is that growth is possible at any age, right? I can work with a preschooler and facilitate growth. I can work with someone who's 90, 99, 101 and facilitate growth. Growth is possible at any age and it's valuable. And the easiest way to get in touch with me is to go to my website, which is www.drvanderhorst.com. So it's www.drvanderhorst.com.
Beautiful.
Yep.
So that's going to be the
And
end of the
my book
show.
is available every place. So
All
you
right.
can go to any bookstore and request it, or you can get it on Amazon.
All right. Beautiful. So thank you so very much for coming, Gloria, and thank you for sharing these beautiful
You're
stuffs with
welcome.
us. It means a whole lot. Thank you.
You're welcome. I've enjoyed talking with you.